France and Russia agreeing to cooperate in the fight against ISIS. Russian President Vladimir Putin saying he met with Francois Hollande from France yesterday, saying Russia is now ready to coordinate its military actions in Syria with the coalition that the U.S. is part of. Joining me now is Heritage Foundation Vice President of Foreign and Defense Policy Studies, James Carafano. Jim, good to see you. Where does Russia fit into all this? Do you really think that they're part of any kind of firm coalition?
No. Next question. No, look.
Yeah, I love one-syllable answers on TV, Jim. Thanks.
All right, yeah. No, look, Russia's in there for one reason, and that's to prop up Assad. Assad does a lot of things for them. He provides a buffer with ISIS, which is important to Russia. Russia has economic interests, has a lot of people operating there. They also use the port, so they've got plenty of serious strategic reasons. And the other thing is as long as they're pretending to do this, they're distracting from people and they're meddling in the Ukraine and Georgia. So Russia has lots of reasons to do this. And the Russian-France discussion means nothing. Russia's going to continue to do what it's doing, which is it's going to prop up Assad. They're not in there to drive ISIS from the earth.
Jim, it's John Bussey who has a question for you.
Russia has lost a passenger jet over Egypt. It has lost a fighter jet over Turkey. It lost a pilot from that fighter jet. It then lost the rescue helicopter and a Marine on that helicopter. At what point does Russian adventurism play badly with the domestic population in Russia? That's a population that remembers the misadventures in Afghanistan for Russia.
Yeah, that's a really important question. If you follow a lot of the Russian internal domestic media, they've been really emphasizing that we are way smarter than the Soviets, and this is not Afghanistan. We're not going to get sucked in here. We're going to be really smart about this. And so they've been kind of trying to reassure the Russian people. And they do have limited objectives there, and I think that plays to their advantage. But beyond that, the rest of it's just part of a big Russian disinformation campaign, downplaying the bombing of the plane in Egypt because they really don't want to have a death struggle with ISIS, using the issue to distract from the Ukraine. That's really important. Now we ought to be clear. The Russians have a concern about the region in which they were trying to operate because Turkey has been supporting opponents to Assad. And that's a place where they want to kind of tuck into. So you would understand why the Russians would want to get in there and get at them. But it's not about getting ISIS. It's about protecting Assad.
What are we going to do? What are we going to do as the U.S.? We promised greater airstrikes, more airstrikes with France. There's going to be greater cooperation with on intelligence. But do you believe that we do anything significantly more than we're doing right now?
I think it's unjust to say the airstrikes are just kind of a feel-good measure, but they're just kind of a feel-good measure. Look, if you could bomb these guys out of existence, I would have thinking after literally hundreds and hundreds, maybe thousands of bombing runs, we'd be done by now. This administration, I don't think, is going to seriously reassess or change its strategy for dealing with the Middle East between now and when the president leaves office. There's no sign of that. If something like Paris didn't do that, then you can only imagine what kind of horrific thing would have to happen for the president to change course. But I think we can be fairly confident that the strategy we're seeing today is the strategy that we'll see the day the president leaves office.
Jim, it was good to see you. Thank you so much, James Carafano, for us from the Heritage Foundation. Take care. Happy holidays. Come back before the end of the year, please, sir.